God's words towards us, His encouraging words, always come when it doesn't look like it. If you critically analyze this, I was just going through the scripture and I saw this and I said, this does not tally. Can I show you something there? Okay, I'll show you very quickly. Go to 5. Go to 5. 15:5. And he brought him forth abroad and said, look now towards heaven. So this is God bringing Abraham outside, and he said, look towards heaven. Is it like that in your Bible? Is it like that in your Bible? He said, look towards heaven, and he said, tell the stars if thou be able to number them. So basically he was just telling him, he said, come and count the stars. So how many of us have thought that Abram, because as of now we are talking about Abram, not Abraham. How many of us have thought in time past that maybe God was just saying, Abram, come out, count the stars, and he will point 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, 1, 2, and God say, aha. Now that you are confused, since you can't count them, that's the same way I'll make your seed. But there's a revelation here. Can I show you? Go to 12. Go to 12 now. 15, 12. So I read from my own device. And when the sun was going down. So if you understand English very well, it is still in the same scenario. So it means the sun was up when God brought him out to say, come and count. How do you see the stars in the sun? Some of you skip school. So you're just looking like you're part of us. Actually, you're not. You're just here. So how many of you can count the stars in the sun? So just 5 years, God was talking about, come out. Come and count the stars. And he said, if you can number them, so not just seeing them, but the ability to see them clearly, to number them. And he said, so shall I make your descendants. And now we are understanding the 12 of it, that the sun was out. Can I shock you? I was foolish enough to go out during the day. When I read this, I even still did it today. I used to prepare myself very well when I'm coming to church, because I know a lot of you will check Google, So I went out and I looked at the sky when it was day, and I was trying to look for just one star. I couldn't see just one. Not to talk of the sun. That's why the Bible was specific about it. And when the sun was going down, so it means the sun was at his full strength, even when God encountered him. And he said, come out and count the stars. That's how it always appears when the Lord appeared to you and is trying to encourage you. That's why every time you receive a prophetic word, it does not tally with what you're going through. It doesn't go with your situation. It doesn't match with where you're coming from, where you're going. But what's God saying? God is saying, ignore all those things you're going through. Just focus on what I've said. So God is spirit, right? So God was actually telling Abraham, and he said, if you can count, not with the physical eyes, because at this point in time, the sun was at its strength, so the physical eyes would not even see one star. And the Bible says he believed. My God. You see, while I was reading here, I was just careful with the text. And the Bible says it was counted as faith for him, because he believed. Believe what you did not count. You can't even see one. He could not even see one. Yet promises were given to him. The same way, every one of us also, we have promises. And there will come at a time where it will be hard for you to believe. Where it will be hard for you to understand. Some of the promises, you look at it and you just laugh. Because it's like counting the stars in the sun. A lot of things, the ray of the sun will be beating your eyes. But God is saying, close this one. I'm talking about the spiritual eyes. What do you see spiritually? What is your mind seeing? What is your heart seeing? And that's why the devil will always be around to distract you. Because he knows that you are focused more on what your eyes can see, what you can readily touch, what you can readily feel. That's why when he was coming to tempt Jesus, he gave him what he needed, what he can readily touch, what he can feel, what it seemed like he was looking for. That's why when he said, oh, look for, he said, all the glory of this earth, look at it. The Bible said, he showed him the glory in a glimpse. And he said, if you can just do this, then I'll give you all this. So when the devil speaks, it will make sense. One time, a certain lady told me, say, Papa, I'm open Loshogo. Yeah, she said she wanted to do money ritual. I think I showed it to Mama. Say she wanted to do money ritual, that she's frustrated. I know, a woman. And I told her, I said, go ahead. I said, sir, I said, go ahead. I said, just know something. That each time you dine with the devil, one day you find yourself in the menu. Everything will glitter. But this is the devil. But when it doesn't make sense and you are hearing some encouraging words, then you know that this is God. How come a warrior was hiding and someone is saying, I had a dream and I saw you conquer them? Gideon. And the rest of the people were hiding. How come a man has serious problem only for God to take him, was praying for the town and God took him to where we call the valley of the dry bone. What's my business with the dry bone? And he said, can this bone live? He said, thou knowest. It doesn't make sense. When he's giving you those promises, they won't make sense. But he just needs you to believe. He just needs you to believe. I used to tell people something. I say, lose everything you want to lose. Lose money, lose friends, lose everything. But never lose hope. Most of all, never lose faith. So one of our sons here came over to my house. It was yesterday now. Yesterday afternoon. And he was telling another politician. He was the one that was telling me, he said, each time you post my picture, these photo people, the election, whatever, he said they'll just begin to speak bad about me. You are broke. What do I care? That's what I care. I don't care. You speak good, fine. You speak bad, advertisement. So he brought one of them, and that was, and you trust me. After the dissection, that one began to lie down in the parlor. And then I asked him a question. I said, few years back, while you were in school, now he's graduated, and ready for life. And I said, a few years back, while you were in school, would you ever know that you would be a millionaire? And he said, no, sir. And I said, now, how much are you worth? And he called it for security reasons. I'm not saying. And he called it. He even told me that now I'm preparing to go to the UK. He now told me, say, Papa, did you remember when you told me that this is this, that. I remember then he was going for a certain post, a little I can remember. And I told him, I said, don't do like this, don't do like this, don't leave Jesus. Do like this, do like this. Don't follow these people to do sham. Leave everything. And they'll say, come and bait. You are going for ordinary SUG. You are baiting sham. Or general secretary. You are already baiting soap. What if you are going for president? And he said something, he said, Papa, he said, you know, when you were telling me, it's even hard for me to believe. Just the same way, God has spoken to you one way or the other, one place or another. You're not going to remain like this. So he'll say it to you when the condition does not make sense. When there's sun, he'll tell you, count the stars. He knows that your physical eyes cannot grasp it. It's not actually speaking to your physical ear, speaking to your heart, that you may believe. You don't believe with your ears that you have, you believe with your heart. Then you know the process where he's trying to make everything make sense. What does he do? He begins to change things about you so that you can keep it. That's what the devil never does. The devil gives the same thing to you. He never changes your condition to match up the same thing. So the devil can take Abraham and turn him to a millionaire. And because he knows that for Abraham to keep the millions, his name needs to change. So he stopped fighting Abraham. Are you here or you went to? He leaves Abraham because the blessings of Abraham is not to come to Abraham, it's to come to Abraham. So Abraham is the one of the covenant. That's why when the time was coming close, God had to change Abraham to Abraham. Because the sustainability is with Abraham, not Abraham. So when God begins to give you these promises, even when there are rays of sun and you cannot see the stars, and you don't even understand what he's saying, at that point there's still a lot to do in your life. You still want to change things. Some, he will add more friends to them. Some, he will remove more friends from them. Some, he wants to teach you how to keep quiet. While for some, he wants you to speak out. So he begins to change things in your life. He begins to change things in your life. That is why we are seeing people that are worth a lot. But they were worthing that a lot while they were Abraham, not Abraham. And they lost it. One time, one of my daughter here paid the transfer fare of a brother down to church. And I got talking with him. And he told me, sir, I was a multi-millionaire. I said, so what happened to you? I understand. That's what the devil does. So now that the Lord is promising you, it's not as if it's delaying. But there are things that need to change for you to keep it. If not, you lose it. Remember, at this time, God was even speaking to Abraham. It was when he left Lot. He just left Lot. Abraham, you must keep moving. Abraham, I'll get to the point where I'll change your name. I'll get to the point where I'll test you. Are you qualified? I told you a story many years ago. I was fasting and I brought this expired milk. I carried it from somebody's shop. Then I was still in the university. So I carried it from somebody's shop. I don't know, maybe you met some of them. Milk. So it wasn't just milk, it was naan. You know this naan they give to baby? So it was expired in my brother's wife, her shop. So I carried it. I said, this thing cannot kill me. I drink worse. I eat worse. So I brought it to school. And I was fasting. My fast then, it was like 6 months. And by the time I'm breaking my fast, It's either I'll use gari and this milk, a lot of it. So it will be tasting like, you know, if you've taken that, some of you don't care anyway. Some of you eat anything. Some of you even eat leaf, you know, bitter leaf. You eat it. Well, not in the bitter goat. For some of us that are human, we have problem with it. And while I pack this milk, I was just drinking the gari. Every time if I were to break, I will drink this gari. Sometimes I was just trying to make the milk different. You know, there's a way you can be poor and you are convincing yourself that you are rich in the Lord. Yet the poverty is all over your face. So today I'll soak the milk, and while I soak the milk, I will say, do you know this thing that is like tablets? Where, you know this milk that is like tablet, this milk sweet, something like that. So I'll call it the milk sweet. I'll take it, then I'll go and purge, just for breakfast. Then sometimes I'll use it as tea. I saw that one wasn't favorable. It was tasting as if I was stealing a baby's milk. So I changed it. So gari was the preferred one. And one day it was remaining like maybe 2 cans of the milk. And I was already thinking, how am I going to survive? That was the day I had the encounter. Where I was praying, I was breaking. And while I was praying to break, I was frustrated, so I was thinking about food, and I was still praying. I was still thinking about food, I was still praying. And God told me, God said, Sinbo, I'll give you UK. And from my prayer, I've told you the story here. I east. As I asked, Sinbo, audible voice of God, I'll give you UK. From my prayer, I did. Instead of you to give me food, you ask me. I need food, not UK. But at that point, it didn't make sense. At that point, it didn't make sense. At that point, God is bringing you out and He's telling you, count the stars. Yet the sun is at its strength. Some of you here, I've prophesied to some of you before, and you asked me how. Because logically speaking, it doesn't tally with what you're going through. Logically speaking, a lot is happening in your life. It's like the sun is at its strength. Yet you are expected to have faith. Then we sing some songs. Then we read some psalms. Just for you to have faith. But your heart is still doubting. That can this be? I don't know. How many of you have gotten to that level? Where you're thinking, would I ever be this sin the Bible is talking about? So you read it in the Bible. Or we are professing a certain thing. And you say, would I ever be this sin? Yet not knowing that every great man you see today, most of them, if not inherited wealth, they're styled like you. They're styled like you. In the strength of frustration, God is speaking. He's telling you, count the stars. Everything that God will do. That's why He talks less. Do you know why? If He talks, you can't understand. You can't understand. Because you'll be judging every of the miracle logically. And by using logical reasoning, you can never be in the same pedestal with God. That's why the Bible says, I'll use the foolish things of this world to confirm the wise. Look at the men, the Pharisees, the scribes. They came together. They were men of the law. They were men that understood the books. So they came together. And they said, judge for yourself. Have you ever had a prophet in Nazareth? That's Jesus. So God has said, I'm going to bring a Messiah. Isaiah prophesied it. Every of the prophets, they said something about it. Moses said something about it. You didn't know Moses said something about Jesus? Okay. So Moses said, show me your glory. And God caused Moses to stand on the rock. Who is the rock? Who is the rock? And he allowed him to see the right side. Who is there? So every of the prophets, they were pointers. They were pointing Jesus. They were pointing, but nobody knew that he was going to be a Nazarene from Nazareth. Nobody. This is just a local town, close to the desert. And by the time he came from there, the Pharisees and the scribes, they gathered together and they said, go and look at the record. Have you ever heard of it? Not even a minor prophet. Has there ever been a prophet from Nazareth? So before they would converse like that, it means they actually know what they are doing. They actually know what they were saying. They had the validation to prove that there's never been any prophet from Nazareth. Just like somebody will come and say, go and check. In the family you came from, has there been anybody that carries the backing of God like you? In the family you came from, in the town you came from, has there ever been anybody that is prosperous? Has there ever been anybody that could stand strong and stand the test of time? When it does not make sense, then God is involved. So God is trying to save you from a lot. Some of us, the reason why our Abraham is not yet Abraham is because we seek validation. Validation. We explain ourselves to everybody. And we expect God to do that. So by the time we come, tell God, okay, the Lord says, I'm going to bless you. I'm going to make you this. I'm going to make you that. Some of you, the first thing that comes out of your mouth is question. How? And he hates the question. So that's why most times he don't speak. He just keep quiet. Because he knows you're going to ask a question. That's what happened between Gabriel and Zachariah, the high priest. The high priest. Imagine the high priest. Not just any priest, the high priest. And Gabriel came and said, okay, you're going to have a child. His name is going to be John. He will be the forerunner, whatever. And they asked him, say, how will this be? How is this going to happen? At some point, even Abraham, the Bible says Abraham was old and well stricken. You don't understand. So the old age had already struck him. He was well stricken. In age, he began to laugh. If only this angel knew how old I am. Just like every one of us here, there's no hope. But your ability to count the stars, even in the sun. Your ability to see hope, even when the surrounding does not support the hope. Your ability to see hope, even when everything that happens around you does not go with what you're thinking. That's when God counts as belief and faith. Be on your feet. So now, if we read it together now, you will understand it very well. Let's read 15:5 together. I want to go. And he brought him forth abroad and said, look now towards heaven. Like this. Look now towards heaven and tell the stars, if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, can we go to 12 now? 15:12. And when the sun was going down, that's just all we need. Can you tell somebody around you, say, God will bring his word to pass? Tell someone else, say, God will bring me forth to wife.